All right, so you'll notice the entire lesson here on area. We haven't talked about area yet. We've talked about circumference, diameter, radius. We have not talked about area, so we're going to just touch on it. Notice it says estimating. Okay, so we're not looking for exact numbers at this point, and you'll see why here in a minute. We're just getting the general concept of area down. Just as a little refresher, how do you find the area of a, let's say, square or rectangle? Anybody remember? Length times width, right? Pretty simple. How about a triangle? Remember how to find the formula of a area of a triangle. Cameron?
Length times width divided by 2.
Why do we gotta divide by 2? Where does that come from? Do you know why? Yeah, so if you have a square or rectangle, a triangle is half of that. That's why it's always divided by 2. Some people will say 1/2, the base times the height, or length times width. Dividing by 2, multiplying by half is the same thing. Yeah, we're not going to cover circles yet, but those are the 2 formulas you're going to need to know today. So number 1, finding little tricks to save us some time here. Does anybody have an easy way to add that? Kinley.
Around 599 to 600.
Okay, so you added 1 here and got 600. Then what?
And then you add 87 to that.
And you get 687
And then you minus 1.
at the end, yeah. So you can change this to 600 plus 87, which would be 687. Then I got to subtract 1 because I added 1 to this to make it 600. So you're going to say it's 600 and?
86.
All right. That's correct. Number 2. Anybody have an idea on that one? Sophia. Okay, what did you do to mentally get that?
I rounded 88 to 100.
Okay.
Added 12 to the first
All right, so some people may have done 90. I added 12, or Sophia did, and said 254 minus 100. 254 minus 100 would be 154. And then because you added 12 here, what do you got to do to answer? Add 12. So what did you say the answer was? 166 is correct. How about the last one, number 3? 99 times 75. Need somebody that hasn't spoken yet. Jonas.
I made the 99 100 and then multiplied it.
So you did 100 times 75. That's simple enough. 7,500.
And then I subtracted 75 from the 7,500.
Yeah, because you added or you multiplied one more 75 here because you made it 175s instead of 99. You got to take one of those 75s away because you multiplied it by one more than you actually had. And what'd you get?
7,525.
Yes. Now, could you do those all by hand? Yes, again, looking for little helpful hints to make it a little easier on you. Page 48, you'll see a house plan. Gives us the approximate lengths of all the walls. Now, what is approximate area? Now, we could figure out the area, think of your house, of every bedroom, every closet, every bathroom, every entryway, kitchen, dining room. That seems like a lot, right? It'd be a lot of pieces. So here's how we're going to look at that. And if you have a ruler handy, it's going to make it a little nicer. I'm just going to draw some straight lines. I'm just going to make it one big rectangle, like all these pieces aren't missing. So all this ruler is helping me do is draw some nice straight lines. I like to put them dotted because they're not actually there. Okay, so I just made it one big rectangle. Okay, because instead of figuring out every little piece here, I can figure out the rectangle and subtract the pieces that are missing. And then I only got to figure out 3 of them instead of every room. So let's say this house went all the way from corner to corner here. I know this is 26. Do you know what this little piece is up here?
32.
8. It's got to be the same as here. So what is the total? We could call it the width of our house.
34.
That would be a total of 34. 26 plus 8. See if you can figure out the total length of the bottom. Molly, you know what the bottom is? What's that? Okay. Read.
40.
This is 33. This little piece would have to be 7. 33 and 7, 40? Yep. All right, so, Brody, tell me the area of what our house would be if these pieces were not missing. So 40 times 34. Then we will check Brody and see if we agree. 1260. Yes? 1360? 1360? All right. So we will go with 1360. Now, some of these pieces aren't actually part of my house. So I'm going to have to figure out the area of them and subtract them. Ladies, why don't you figure out the area of this little piece up here? Rectangle? Gentlemen, rectangle down here. Once you have it, check with another person working on your same problem, see if you agree. You got this one. All right, ladies? 96 is correct. Gentlemen? 38.5. All right, now the toughest one. Well, not really, but it's a triangle. So there's one extra step. All right, remember the whole thing is 40. How much is this piece? 12. What's 12 plus 8.5? So it's 20.5 to here. Remember, the whole thing is 40. What would this have to be? So what plus 20.5 would give me 40? 19.5 is correct. That's going to be the bottom of my triangle. Okay, now I got to do the same thing to this side. I know this is 5.5 down here. This is 9, so that's a total of, what's 9 and 5.5? Connor? 5.5 plus 9. So that means this is 14.5. 14.5 plus what gives me 34. 14.5 plus what? 13? What? 19.5? 9.5? So this is kind of like the mental problem that you did to start the class. You know, let's say I add 20. What's 14.5 plus 20? 34.5, right? That's a little much. 19.5. So both sides of the triangle are the same. All right, so how do I find the area of that triangle, Maverick? Them numbers times the other numbers, and then you take the area numbers. So you take them numbers times the numbers to get the area numbers. Okay, go ahead and do that. All right, remember our formula was this triangle's on its side here, but length times width and then divided by 2. So 19.5 times 19.5, and then we need half of it. Everybody get 380.25? No? Well, I could have multiplied wrong. I should have got that confirmed before I divided by 2. What'd you get?
I got 33,672.5.
I got
Should be less than 400 because 20 times 20 is 400. Yep.
I got 379.25.
379.25?
381.25.
Okay. I think it should be 380.25. I'm seeing a lot more of those. And then you do half of it. 190.25. Okay, I just did half of 380s, 190, half of 25 would be 0.125. All right, the only other issue we might have is it's not really a full triangle because this balcony is here. What's the area of that balcony? 11 times 4, right? 44. So I'm going to add the balcony before I subtract to make sure I don't lose it. So 1360 plus 44 would be 1404. Now it does say estimate, so I'm not worrying about my decimal. So 1404 minus 190. So again, like we talked about from the first example, subtract 200 and then add 10 back. That's pretty simple. What's 1404 minus 200? 1204, right? Add 10 back. 1214. And make sure you have a label. And anytime you estimate, you got to have the squigglies. Approximately equal to. Because it is not perfect. All right, next example. Again, estimate the area of Nevada. So I'm going to choose Nevada to be just one big rectangle. Okay, if this piece of Nevada was not missing, how would I get the area? Length times width. Don't do the 270. Some people get confused, but that's not the whole area here. Okay, that only goes up to here. We need the whole height. So 490 times 320. Again, you can do 49 times 32 and then add 2 zeros to it. $156,800. Okay. Now that would be the area of Nevada, but we're missing a piece. It does say estimate, so I'm going to use 270 for my height of my triangle that's missing right here. What should I use for my width? 320. Okay. So 270 times 320. I'm going to do 32 times 27 and then add a 0. $86,400. Okay, now it is a triangle, so don't forget I need to divide by 2. So half of 86 would be 43,200. So that's the area of this piece right here. So now what do I got to do with those two numbers? Subtract, because this isn't part of Nevada. So 156,800 minus the triangle. I'm going to make sure I put my approximately symbol in there because that's certainly not exact. Lauren, you want to help me subtract here? 0 minus 0. 0 again. 8 minus 2, Lauren. 6 minus 3. 5 minus 4. Do I need a label? That would be square miles. Or miles squared, yes. Again, an estimate. Okay, the Are You Ready there, guys? We're going to skip that one to talk about the homework currently. Okay, just a reminder to figure out the area of this thing so you can make a big rectangle around it, 20 times 16, and then subtract the area of the 4 triangles. These 4 would all be the same. And I show you that over here. You're going to have one problem today where it's going to say draw some shapes to help you figure it out. So like this pond or lake, it's impossible to figure out the area of every little corner of this. So you can estimate it, making it into a rectangle and a triangle. The more shapes you draw, the more accurate you can be. Okay, page 51, start of your homework. Again, I would make this, Maverick, you don't actually have to measure anything. I would make it one big rectangle. And then subtract the area of the missing pieces. Subtract the area of the missing ones. Just out of curiosity, what's the total height of that figure? That'd be 5. What is the total width of that shape? This is 3, this is 3, it's a total of 6. So the area is going to be 30 minus the area of the pieces that are missing there. Number 2, draw polygons on the map that can be used to approximate the area of Virginia. So you're going to do like they did right here. Not figuring out the area of anything, you're just breaking it up into some shapes. Maybe triangle, maybe square, maybe rectangles, and the more shapes you use, the more accurate your estimate would be. I used 4 shapes for that one. And you're just drawing the shapes right on top of the map. B, what measurements would you need to know? So once you draw your shapes, so I would need to know the width of the rectangle, the height of the rectangle, height of the triangle, width of the triangle. You're not actually finding them. It's just asking you what would you need to know then to calculate it. Using a ruler might help you draw some straight lines there. Not measuring anything. Question 3 gives you the diameter and is talking about a wheel turning. So what are you going to have to figure out first? Circumference. That's your first step, absolutely. Question number 4 is talking about the equator. And the equator, I think you'll be able to handle that one. You're obviously, the equator goes around the globe, so that should give away what you're talking about there. Number 5. For each recipe, describe how many tablespoons of lemonade mix it takes per cup of sparkling water. So you're going to write these all as a fraction of lemonade over water and then reduce it. So let's do the first one together. How much lemonade do I have? 4. How much water do I have? 12, so I reduce it. What's 4 divided by 12? Reduced. 1/3. So 1/3 of a tablespoon of lemonade mix per cup water. And you do that for all of them. Only one that might be a little tricky is dealing with fractions. 1/2 over 3/4. Remember, that's the same as 1/2 divided by 3/4. So a little review of dividing fractions there for number 4. So page 51 and 52 is your homework for tomorrow.